What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now in today's video, we're going to go over a penny stock that I think has a lot of potential in the future. And I think there's a lot of people who would agree with this if they actually take a look at the fundamentals of this company. Now the company we're talking about is Waitr Holdings with the ticker symbol WTRH. And for those of you who are unaware, Waitr Holdings is basically a food delivery service much like Grubhub or Uber Eats or any other food delivery system you guys can think of. But there are a couple things that do set them apart, and this is why I think there's a lot of potential despite them being a penny stock. But before we actually jump into the video, for those of you who are new here, my name is Evan and I make videos showing you guys different ways to make money in the stock market. So if that interests you guys, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss when I upload. Also, if you guys wouldn't mind going down and hitting the like button, I would really appreciate it, and it lets me know that you guys enjoy these video updates every day. So again, we're going over Waitr Holdings, and you can see today they're up right around 4%, and they actually spiked up about 11% and got up to about $4 at one point today. But the way to show you guys more on how Waitr's been moving and their stock growth that they've been having is when we look at the bigger charts. And so here I have the 3-month chart pulled up, and you can see that they're actually up 34% almost on the 3-month chart. Now I know a lot of you guys, when you're investing in penny stocks, you want these stocks that are having huge movements. But of course, most of you guys know that that's not sustainable, especially if you're going to hold a penny stock long term. Now, sometimes that does defeat the purpose of investing in a penny stock because you just want to buy it and flip it. But Waitr is one of those companies that I think you could hold long term, and they could become one of those next Grubhub or Uber Eats companies. Now, especially on the 1-year chart, Waitr's actually had pretty substantial growth, and they're up almost 900% on the 1-year chart. So it's not like they don't have big price swings if you guys are looking for that in a penny stock, because most penny stocks are pretty volatile. But even at this $3.75 area, and with them up 900% on the year, I think there's a lot more growth for Waitr in the future, especially once the mainstream starts considering that Waitr is a company much like Grubhub and much like Uber Eats. I just don't think enough people know about them right now for their share price to actually compete with these other companies. And just to give you an idea, if we scroll down here, you can see that their market cap is around 400 million. And when you compare this to another company like, say, Grubhub, for example, Grubhub has a market cap of about 7 billion. And the reason I bring this up is because Grubhub also has about 10 times the deliveries when you look at the Play Store and the App Store as compared to Waitr. So Waitr does actually have a mobile app, and they have a very nice website as well that we're going to check out. But if you took their market cap and 10x'd it, which isn't even quite to where Grubhub is at, Waitr would be trading about $37 per share. So the potential is really there for a company like this, and I just don't think they've gotten the traction that they need to really take off. And I think once people start realizing that it's not just Grubhub, Uber Eats, and Doordash, there's also other delivery services, I think a company like Waitr could really take off. Now, they've been bouncing around between $2.70 and $3.70 for most of the time between August and right now. But again, as you could see on the 1-year chart, they're up pretty substantial amounts. And there's also been a recent uptick in their trading momentum over the last few sessions. But with other companies, especially like Doordash, who just recently IPO'd, and then Grubhub and Uber, they've all seen a decent upwards trend over the past year, mostly due to the current situation that we're in with the pandemic, and a lot of people are no longer going into restaurants to sit down and eat, and they would much rather have their food delivered to them. And so that's why all these other companies are seeing big increases in their price, and Waitr is just yet to be adopted by all these big restaurants and these big corporations. Now once that happens, Waitr is really going to take off, and they just need to get adopted by enough of these companies and corporations, because right now they still are working with pretty big corporations, and they're also partnered with companies like McDonald's, but there just needs to be more of these partnerships for them to really gain traction. Now this here is their website, and it's actually very easy to navigate around, and you can also become a driver for Waitr, or you can become a partner with your restaurant, and they partner with pretty much any restaurant out there. So even if you're just a small startup restaurant, they're most likely going to partner with you, and so this gives a lot more people flexibility, even people starting out in the restaurant business. And this is kind of outdated here, but as of December 2019, they had approximately 18,000 restaurant partners in 640 cities, and they're also founded in 2013 and they're headquartered in Louisiana. So they're really not nearly as old as all these other companies that have been around for quite a while, and they're just gaining traction in food delivery. And we can see this when we look at their revenue and their earnings as well, because here's their revenue and you can see year after year they're increasing quite substantially. Now, of course, when you look at December of 2020, this is an estimate because earnings and revenue haven't come out yet. But the reason why it's not substantially bigger than 2019, I think, is mostly due to all these other companies like Uber, DoorDash, and Grubhub really taking over the space and getting the majority of the deliveries through all this pandemic. Now, of course, looking at December of 2021, it's not substantially bigger than 2020. But again, this is mostly due to all these bigger delivery companies, and they're really getting the majority of the attention, and they have been for about the past year or so. But when we look at their earnings per share, this is where they kind of shine. Now again, it's nothing substantial, but again, this is a future growth company, and they're really only starting to pick up traction now. For example, when we look at their earnings per share in Q3 of 2019, it was negative 37 cents. Then Q4, it was negative 28 cents, negative 3 cents in Q1 of 2020, and you can see from there, it's pretty much increased. Now, Q2 of 2020 was their biggest quarter in terms of earnings per share, and it was 11 cents per share, and you can see that they kind of pulled back since then, and Q4 of 2020 is expected to be their worst estimate in recent quarters, but Q1 of 2021 is supposed to be 7 cents, and from there I think they're going to finally start picking up traction, and that's where we're going to see those big gains. And I think a lot more corporations and companies are going to start adopting Waitr, and it's going to become one of those more mainstream companies. And when we look at their earnings estimates, for 2020 they had sales of $210 million, and 2021 is supposed to be sales of $223 million, and a loss of about 8.5% year over year. But again, I think this is mostly due to all these bigger companies really taking all the attention, and a lot more people trust these companies because they're more mainstream. But 2022 is where they're going to shine, and they're going to be bumped up by almost 26% in 2022, and that's going to be on sales of $247 million. So for me, this is more of a long-term penny stock play, and I think it's more long-term that you're going to see those big substantial gains. Now, you could see big market fluctuations in the short term, and so if you're going to buy in, I would maybe wait till a slight pullback, because most of the time it does shoot back up. But again, I'm not a financial advisor, and you guys should do your own research on Waitr. But at least in my opinion, I think they're a very good long-term hold, and I think once people start adopting them as one of these mainstream ways of delivering food, they're really going to take off, like I've already mentioned. Now, one last thing I want to touch on is actually the Waitr news, and this is on their website, and you guys can go ahead and check this out if you want to. All you have to do is go to their website and check out their news tab. But this is where Waitr shines when you compare them to other companies, because they're actually doing a lot for small businesses, and they're constantly partnering with new people, and they're expanding to new cities pretty often. I would say on a monthly basis or so. They're really expanding to more cities, and more cities around the country are giving Waitr a try. And I don't think too many of them are disappointed, because again, going back to Waitr on the Google Play Store, they're actually ranked the same as Grubhub with a 4.5 rating. So it's not like they're some rip-off delivery company. They actually are rated very well in terms of delivery companies. And so again, the potential is there for them to grow in the future, especially because the people who are using Waitr really love it. And I think a lot of these people actually prefer Waitr over these larger delivery companies like Uber, Grubhub, and DoorDash. But again, going back to their news, they're actually doing things all the time, like donating to local food banks or donating money to Second Harvest Food Bank here. So they're one of those companies that's really helping the local community around them. And I don't think too many of these larger companies can say that they do this. So that's the last thing I wanted to touch on in terms of Waitr and where I think they could be in the future. Now, I haven't really given a specific price prediction because it is dependent on how many people adopt Waitr and how widespread it becomes. But if it does become mainstream and a lot more people start hearing about them, that's when I think we could see them easily 5 to 10x in price. And that's when people are going to see substantial gains in their portfolio. So I'm not really going to give a specific price prediction, at least not in the short term. But I do want to hear what you guys think down in the comments and whether you think this is a good company to invest in. Also, if you guys already own shares of Waitr, let me know what your average share price is down in the comments. And if you guys don't own any shares, do you think this is a company you could invest in the future or right now? So again, let me know down in the comments. Also, if you guys haven't signed up for Webull, make sure you guys sign up using the link in the description description. And when you sign up and deposit $100, you'll get 4 free stocks now. And if you guys want to join the Discord and chat among like-minded people, or if you want to ask questions or you're new to investing, feel free to join using the link in the description, or I'm also going to pin the top comment down in the comment section. And if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like because it really does help out the channel. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you back here in the next one. Bye.